Well, Guillermo, what you said about the unnecessary gestures is where life appears. I think is like such a great, succinct way of putting this thing that I wish I had that phrase to say during production because it's always the small little things that you end up having to justify in your mind and to producers and everything because with animation, everything is so precious and it takes so long just to create a frame that those are the first things to go. But they really are like that texture and that is often, yeah, where intimacy grows between characters. And that's how an audience gets to, you learn more about a character pulling a drawer out and shoving it than you do maybe a whole monologue. Yes. And so I think that's probably part of the reason that almost all of our moments are these quiet moments that are sort of irreducible and so specific. But mine is on trend with that too, which is there's a moment, sort of the emotional climax of the movie when Marcel is having second thoughts about doing this interview and disturbing their environment. Maybe his grandmother's, not long for this world. He's worried about the stress and he tries to back out and she encourages him to go through with it. And my co-writer, Nick Paley and I had so many long conversations about what that incredibly moving monologue will be. and in the end, we banged our heads against walls for months writing it. And then in the end, part of the reason that I work with Nick is that he has a great way of finding that irreducible truth at the bottom of stuff and putting it like as succinctly as possible. Ultimately, so we wrote all these monologues. Ultimately, Marcel asked what's going to happen, or what if everything changes again? And his grandmother Nick was just like, this is after like week 4 of wanting to walk into the ocean. Nick was like, what if she just says the truth? And I was like, what's the truth? And he's like, it will, but she would say it with a smile. Mm-hmm. And that moment, I think it also, Joel, what you were saying about a quiet moment, letting the animation do the real, writing and storytelling in that moment was, that's the key to it. I mean, that is the truth. That is also what the movie's about. And it also allows this moment to not get bogged down with the specifics of trying to articulate it cerebrally or intellectually, and telling the story through animation. And, Ijo Lee, who animated that shot, just knocked it out of the park.